What's up, guys? So today we are going to go through market research, and I'll give you a little bit of context on why this is so important. So, whether you join a program like client acquisition or whether you join a different program, a lot of people think that just joining the program in itself is going to make you successful. And I promise you guys, like, you are going to have to do what we call the boring work. Like, you're going to have to put the work in to truly understand your niche and gather enough data necessary for you to effectively market to that niche and to effectively speak the language of the target audience that you're trying to run traffic to. So this market research document, this is a cheat sheet that's going to help you gather and analyze data about your niche, providing a solid foundation for understanding your market. This information is going to enable you to create a more compelling offer, establish authority on sales calls, identify product market fit, validate your offer, write more effective sales copy, and overall it's going to give you what Hormozy calls information asymmetry. So by information asymmetry, what he means by that is when you're on sales calls or even in your marketing copy or in your ads themselves, you can demonstrate the fact that you know more about the market than the prospect does. And that immediately puts you in a position of authority in the mind of the prospect, because they see, you throw out these numbers to them, or you throw out, these statistics to them about, identifying problems that are occurring in that market. And they say, whoa, like, this guy actually truly understands this market. I better listen to what he has to say. And Hormozy does this flawlessly in his sales calls with gym owners. Like, he knows by heart, what the average take-home profit of a gym owner is, what the margins are for gym owners, small business gym owners. So that's what he means by information asymmetry. And this is critical for creating what I just mentioned, information asymmetry, and it will help you appear more knowledgeable about the market than your prospect. So let's dive into it. So first, you're going to want to identify the industry or niche. Now, an example is like private medical clinics, e-commerce, real estate. Now, these are broad niches. And one thing that you guys are going to quickly realize when you try to run ads, if you do it the lazy way and you pick a niche, a low barrier to entry niche, say like, chiropractors or real estate, you're going to find it very, very difficult to stand out unless your offer is very, very unique. So if you're running the same kind of offer to the same kind of niche that everybody else is, you're going to have to spend a lot more money. Your cost per lead is going to be a lot higher. It's going to be much harder to get these people on a call because you sound just like everybody else and you're pushing the same offer as everybody else. So what I like to do is the sweet spot in identifying a niche is a segment of a niche. So you have an industry as a whole. Let's take HVAC, for example. You have the industry as a whole, which is the home services industry. Then you have a vertical within that industry, so say HVAC. And then you have a subsegment of that vertical. So an example could be like an HVAC company that does clean energy, that retrofits commercial buildings with up-to-date HVAC systems, because most commercial buildings have outdated HVAC systems that waste money and waste energy, right? So that would be an example of a subsegment within a vertical, within a niche, within an industry. And that's really the sweet spot that you want to aim for, but you can start with these more kind of broad niches, and then as you begin completing this document, you'll likely come across that sweet spot, that subsegment. So second point to go through here is the geographic location. So what is your TAM? So are you targeting the USA, Canada, Europe, the whole world, just English-speaking countries? So what we call like the big five, US, Canada, United Kingdom, New Zealand, and Australia would be like the big five English-speaking countries. Then your target segments, so small to medium-sized businesses and individual professionals, and then revenue requirements. So that's where you'll put your answer to that there. And this is all stuff like, just to provide some clarity here, guys. Like, this is something that you're not going to just put into ChatGPT and have it spit out the answers for you just for the sake of completing the document. You're going to want to spend a good 4 to 5 hours on this, because the amount of time that you spend doing this and then doing the follow-up video to this that I'm going to put in the training, which is identifying your avatar profile, the amount of time that you spend on this is going to be directly correlated to how successful you are within the niche and how well you understand the niche. So the key characteristics of the niche, identify the key characteristics, anything to help you get a better understanding of who you're targeting. And then step 2, key areas to research. So you're going to research the TAM, total addressable market. This is all stuff that you can Google. You can read through some blogs on this. Make sure you get up-to-date information. Usually a lot of this information is like a year behind, so they'll give you like the TAM or the year-over-year growth rate of 2023 if it's 2024, 2024 if it's 2025. Total revenue potential. This is a X billion dollar a year industry. Number of potential customers. Geographic distribution of the market. So like, are there any specific states or countries that this market is particularly concentrated in? Where is it growing in the world or in the country? The year-over-year growth rate. So this is going to help you identify if this is a growing market or if this is a shrinking market, or what Hormozy would call, like, is this a starving crowd or not? He has an example of in his book of an entrepreneur friend of his who is very good at business, but was not making the kind of money that he wanted to make. And once Hormozy asked him a few questions, he realized that his business was in selling print ads in newspapers, which is shrinking by 30-40% per year, year over year. Whereas if he just switched that model over to a platform or a broader market that was growing year over year, then his friend would be much more successful. So this is what is required to identify in the year-over-year growth rate. It helps you identify potential future expansion opportunities. The historical growth rates, so 5% annual growth over the last 5 years, as an example. Projected future growth rates. Market segmentation, so this is what I meant by the segment within a vertical, within the niche, within the industry. So the division of the market into distinct subsets of customers with common needs or characteristics. Segmenting the market allows for more targeted marketing and tailored messaging, increasing the effectiveness of your campaigns. Data to gather, demographics. So what are the primary demographics? Age, gender, income level, etc. of the people in this market. This is B2B, obviously, but you're going to see, what the average age of a CEO of a concrete company is, for example. Gender, likely for concrete companies, mostly male. Firmographics, so company size, industry, location, behavioral characteristics, buying patterns, brand loyalty, etc. The market mechanisms, so the process and structures through which the market operate. Understanding the mechanisms helps identify opportunities for differentiation and competitive advantages. Key data points to gather here are the key players and competitors in this market. So this is going to be a competitor analysis. You're going to list like 3 to 5. Supply chain dynamics. Also, just to go back to the competitor analysis, you're going to want, like, success leaves clues. So you're going to want to list the top 3 to 5 competitors in this market, and then later on you're going to want to dig in and see exactly what it is that these people do that makes them so much more successful than Joe Schmo HVAC company or whatever in Boise, Idaho, or whatever. Supply chain dynamics. You're going to want to basically do a Google search. Supply chain dynamics, plus, whatever industry. And then they'll tell you like if this is like a coach or an agency, for example, you can leave this blank. There's a couple of these that are more so for like brick and mortar types of companies, but if you're targeting an info product or a coach or a digital marketing agency or something like that, there's some of these like supply chain dynamics that you can leave blank. Distribution channels, on the other hand, for internet marketing companies would be like Google, Facebook, WordPress, whatever. Pricing structures, so this is going to be what the average ticket price is of the range of services that the people within this niche offer. And then it'll take a little bit of time for you to figure that out. You'll basically just, again, do some Google searches and figure that out. The challenges and pain points faced by businesses and individuals within the market. Identifying problems and constraints helps in positioning your offer as a solution to these challenges, enhancing its perceived value. So this is where you're going to identify the overall market problems and constraints. And then once we go into, I'm not going to show it yet, I'll show it on the next video, but once we go into the avatar profile, you're going to identify the individual problems and constraints. In the market research doc, you're going to identify the overall problems and constraints or bottlenecks within this industry. So an example could be for coaches, online coaches, for example. One problem or constraint could be high levels of competition or saturation in the coaching space as of late. Another one could be technological problems or constraints. So if you're targeting agencies, a technological problem or constraint could be like AI disrupting the agency market. Now, data to gather for the problems and constraints, common industry challenges, competition, technological barriers, like I just mentioned, specific pain points of our target customers, operations, lack of skilled labor, etc. The point here is to list out as many bottlenecks as you can find that your industry is dealing with. So this should take you a little bit of time just identifying this, because this part right here is one of the most important parts of the whole document. So you're going to want to list out as many problems as you can find. You're going to want to go to like forums, like Reddit threads, Facebook groups, like try to find the commonalities between the problems people in this market are having. List them here, and then give a 2 to 3 sentence deep dive into those individual problems. Like, why is this a big problem in the industry? And guys, like I promise you, this is going to feel like tedious work and it's going to feel like homework. But by the time you're done with it, you guys are going to be elite copywriters. Like I promise you this. Like I go through this when we onboard new GCP clients into the program, whenever if it's a done for you client, which means I'm the one that's writing the copy and running the ads. I go through this, and by the time I'm done with it, I know more about the client's niche than they do. I promise you that. So if you go through this entire document and you really spend the time to do areas like this here, I promise you guys are going to be elite within your niche. Like you're going to be able to write insane sales copy. So market trends and analysis, the patterns and movements shaping the market landscape. Staying informed about market trends allows you to create better, unique selling propositions and anticipate changes and adjust your strategies accordingly. So data to gather here is emerging trends. Example would be increasing adoption of AI technologies, industry forecast and predictions, innovations and technological advancements. Now, the next section here, Dream 100, this is a section I added recently after I reread Russell Brunson's book, Expert Secrets. And he says he credits the Dream 100 with being the most important thing that he did for ClickFunnels that helped take him from a 4 or 5 figure a month company to a 6 figure a month company and beyond. So the Dream 100 is basically Identifying areas online where your target market congregates. So blogs, social media platforms that they frequent, threads, forums, individual websites like newsletters. You want to compile all of these, and then you have your Dream 100. So this is designed to help focus your marketing efforts on the most relevant platforms, influencers, and communities to your target audience. And I promise you, whether you're doing agencies and coaches or whether you're doing concrete companies, I promise you, like, you have pockets of them online that congregate and have communities with each other. So you can find forums and threads and frequently asked question threads, stuff like that, where these people answer each other's questions and they gossip about certain things within that industry. Like, you have to identify where those are because I promise you, if you can do that, you're going to have such a better understanding of the true pain points that they're dealing with. Like, you can give surface level pain points of a market or a niche. Anybody can do that. But once you identify and you see it in real time, where you're going through a website or a thread and you're seeing all these people posting having the same problem, then in your marketing messaging, this is a verified and validated pain point that I've seen with my own eyes on, whatever this Reddit thread or this forum. And that's going to resonate with your audience because it's already been validated. Like, it's there in black and white. That these people are dealing with, XYZ problem. So here is how to identify your Dream 100 top websites and forums. You're going to want to list 10 or more of these. Active Facebook groups, you're going to want to list 10 or more. Influencers on social media, you're going to want to list 20 or more. So that's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Podcasts, you're going to want to list 10 or more. Email newsletters, 20 plus, and then YouTube channels, 10 or more. Now, once you identify all of these, and then blogs, 20 or more blogs as well. Now, once you identify all of these, you have a source for you to go to if you ever have writer's block, or if you're ever having trouble making new creatives or filming new videos or writing scripts for new videos. Because you can go to these newsletters or these podcasts or these YouTube channels, and you can get a consistent and constant stream of information from people within your niche and within your field that you're within the market that you're trying to target your prospect in. And again, like this part here is going to be one of the most important parts of this entire document, and this is going to give you an endless pool of inspiration and just insights into the market that you are targeting with your messaging and your ads. So key takeaways and insights from the doc. Throughout the market research, we've identified primary challenges, pain points experienced by businesses and individuals within the industry. By understanding these obstacles and constraints, you are better equipped to position your offering as effective solutions, thereby enhancing their perceived value and appeal. This insight not only highlights the areas where your product or service can provide the most significant impact, but it also strengthens your strategy to meet market demands more effectively. We encourage you to leverage these findings to refine your approach, drive innovation, and achieve a competitive edge in your market. So at the end here, you'll write a brief summary of the key takeaways and insights you've gathered from this document. And then what we want you to do is either add this to ClickUp, or also what I would prefer you to do is to put it in your individual Discord channel and tag myself, Casey, or whoever your account manager is, Issa or Brandon, in the Discord, because what we want to do internally on our end is we want to collect all of these market research documents so that we can use it on our end to make better data-driven decisions whenever we're consulting with you guys, and we don't have to have so much back and forth where we're asking you certain questions around different things in your niche. We can just go straight to your market research doc. We can look at it and we can, identify where the bottlenecks are, like where the problems are that need to be solved. So hope this was helpful for you guys. I know this is something that was a major game changer for me in my own journey with marketing and writing copy specifically, also on sales calls. Like I promise you guys, this is going to be super, super helpful for you guys. So, yep, I will see you in the next video.